The Supreme Court just handed presidents dramatically greater control over powerful federal agencies, and most Americans have no idea what this decision could mean. The court did not give the president unlimited power to fire every government employee, but it did eliminate a major protection that allowed certain agency leaders to operate without fear of political retaliation. The case is called Trump versus Slaughter. President Trump fired Rebecca Slaughter, a Democratic commissioner at the Federal Trade Commission. Federal law said an FTC commissioner could be removed only for inefficiency, neglect of duty, or misconduct. Trump did not accuse Slaughter of any of those things. He said her continued service was inconsistent with his administration's priorities. By a 6-3 vote, the Supreme Court ruled that Trump had the constitutional authority to fire her. The conservative majority said that because the Constitution gives executive power to the president, officials exercising that power must generally remain under the president's control. That includes the president's ability to remove them without proving misconduct. On the surface, that may sound reasonable. The president leads the executive branch, so shouldn't the president control the people working inside it? But Congress created independent agencies for a reason. Agencies responsible for protecting workers, regulating corporations, investigating misconduct, and enforcing federal law were supposed to follow the law, not simply the president's political agenda. Now imagine that a president, someone close to the president, or a powerful corporation supporting the president comes under investigation. The officials conducting that investigation may work within the executive branch. If an agency leader allows that investigation to continue, what prevents the president from firing that person and replacing them with someone more loyal? That is the danger critics see in this ruling. For 91 years, the controlling precedent was a 1935 case called Humphrey's Executor. That decision allowed Congress to protect certain independent agency commissioners from being fired without cause. But in Trump versus Slaughter, the Supreme Court overturned that precedent, giving presidents far greater control over agencies Congress deliberately designed to have some political independence. This argument over presidential control has appeared before. During the Reagan administration, Congress investigated the Environmental Protection Agency's handling of money intended to clean up toxic waste sites. Reagan ordered EPA Administrator Anne Gorsuch to withhold subpoenaed documents. The House held her in contempt of Congress, and she later resigned amid the controversy. Questions about whether Justice Department official Ted Olson misled Congress eventually produced an independent counsel investigation. In 1988, the Supreme Court ruled 7-1 that limited protections for that independent counsel were constitutional. The only dissenter was Justice Antonin Scalia. Scalia argued that all executive power belonged to the president and that Congress could not place executive investigations outside presidential control. And here is where the history comes full circle. Anne Gorsuch, the EPA administrator at the center of the Reagan-era controversy, was the mother of current Supreme Court Justice Neil Gorsuch. Decades ago, the Supreme Court rejected the Reagan administration's argument for greater presidential control over an independent investigation. But now, Justice Gorsuch has joined the majority in Trump versus Slaughter, giving Donald Trump and every future president far greater power to remove independent agency leaders. Donald Trump benefits from the power Justice Gorsuch just helped expand, and Gorsuch's own family history shows exactly why independent oversight was considered necessary in the first place. To be clear, the court did not rule that the president may fire every federal employee whenever he wants. Civil service protections remain, and the court has recognized limited exceptions. It also treated the Federal Reserve differently in a separate decision. But leaders of many major independent agencies may now have far less protection against presidential retaliation. So here is what the American people should be asking. If an agency begins investigating a president, a political ally, or a powerful corporation, and the president can remove its leadership simply because the investigation becomes inconvenient, how independent can that agency truly be? The Supreme Court calls this presidential accountability. Critics call it the destruction of independent oversight. Either way, the balance of power has changed, and the American people need to understand exactly what just happened. What do you think? Let me know in the comments. If you found this breakdown helpful, like the video, subscribe to Beyond the Headlines, and check out my other videos for more in-depth coverage. Thanks for watching.